2020 Toyota Camry hybrid, have an electric compressor. They replaced the liquid line, was damaged. So this damage was here. You can see where they welded here. This is replaced. All this was replaced. They didn't replace this as original core support, I think it looks like. They just sprayed it in place. They didn't even bother taking off the sensor, so they got overspray from, they just did some tack welds and then just kind of touched it. I mean, oh, I thought it was gonna take off. So you could see the smoke from welding and you could see the black soot. They didn't even bother wiping it off. They just sprayed some white over it and the black soot is showing through the white. There's no corrosion inhibitor over any of the welds at all. They just sprayed or just welded. No seam sealer. They just sprayed a little white paint over it to make it look white. So what I was checking was making sure they have the clip inside here. Let's see. You see where I'm pulling right there? Oh, that looks like he reused the clip. And it looks like part of it's broken off. Something doesn't look 100% right in there. But that's what kind of shop this is. They're not 100% right. Where are we at? Okay, I got a gap over there and I got a gap over. Maybe. But so I asked the body man, and he likes to get me out of here. I only do their YF vehicles because they have 134 machine. But when he has usually aftermarket, he comes up and tells me right away, it's aftermarket. Can you please check if it leaks or not? Because they've had so many leaks on aftermarket. The body man wants to know before it all goes back together and the wiring harnesses and everything. So I just got out here. It's not an OEM. And apparently they didn't order a brand new clip and O-ring, so I know they have the old O-rings. Oh no, new O-rings because they got a new line. And it should have came with a clip, but the clip is really dirty looking. I wonder if he had a hard time getting it in there because it doesn't quite look right. For you guys who live out in the States where you salt the water and everything like that, you know what happens when you leave the seams open and you don't seal them and you don't use any anti-corrosion or anything like that, none of the galvanized when you rust. You know how bad the frame rusts. And we got some beautiful welds there. So they're all open. Absolutely no anti-corrosion is over any of these. Not at all. So didn't even bother painting some of them. Yeah, I feel sorry for this customer. This is one of those ones, if you're a customer and if you ever go to trade in your vehicle, when they're looking over the vehicle, and especially if you're trading it in at the dealer, which is like the worst thing you can do, and they lift this car up and they see welds like that, they're gonna say, hell no. They'll give you a dime on the dollar, man. You will get screwed. This is how you rip off customers, by doing this kind of work. No anti-corrosion, no just wide open gaps. So here's the other side. Here's the factory. Let me show you the factory. Okay, you see that seam sealer down there? That's covering the factory weld right there. You see the seam sealer? So this is the yeah, they replaced that. I can see where they did that top there. They ground away so they could do some welds. Okay, this is the factory side. That's what it should look like. That's what it should look like. Absolutely, they didn't even try painting here. Yeah, we all know what happens to these cars when they go to a place by the ocean or salted roads. And I just found out when I walked in here, there's only one technician left. I asked the old technician, I go, where are all the toolboxes? And he says, all the guys quit. I go, Well, why'd they quit? I knew why. It has to do with wages and working conditions. And he says, oh, they didn't get their raises for this year, and they got better paying jobs somewhere else. And and the only good guy here is the guy this is the only guy here. He does work like this, and this is all he's known, and this is all from where he comes from. This is called acceptable work. And the owner or the manager is incapable of training technicians how to weld correctly, how to make things good, like how to seam seal correctly, how to anything. They're totally 100% mechanically and intuitively inept in the actual procedures of how to do them correctly in every aspect of the business, including the paint. And the place next door right now, I was just outside another hole in the wall body shop, and right now there's a customer out there just ripping the new asshole, and the owner of the body shop going over his paint job. And I was getting stuff out of the back of my car, listening to this customer point out all the problems. He had mismatched color, orange peel, and then he looked on the roof of the car and he was pointing out all the orange peel and the solvent pop on the top. And I was listening to him, and the body shop owner, and this, he says, I just left here 3 weeks ago. And the body shop owner got up and he looked on the roof of the car and he goes, oh, the paint is all peely and bumpy like this because you live over by the ocean and it's the salt water. Bullshit. Owners like this need to be fucking removed from this industry. And you don't get orange peel from salt water. Sorry, dude, you don't pass. And this is the problem in this industry. Owners are allowed to own shops and they can't even do the work themselves. They can't even train their own technicians. This is a problem. This is a systemic cancer in our industry that just F's everybody over. From the customer to the employees and even themselves. And I had a conversation with owner at this place and about prices and wages before. And I go, why? I notice you haven't raised your prices ever since COVID. Oh no, we can't raise our prices because we're trying to be, have lower prices for the insurance company. We don't want to have problems, and we don't want them to ban us. They're so afraid. They're like little cowering dogs with their tails shaking, shivering, like a chihuahua who's been beat or something. Well, a chihuahua's a mean little devil dog, but a beat, abused dog that just cowers and does whatever somebody says. As soon as they raise their hand, they pee. And that is a problem in this industry. Allowing owners to be owners who are just cowardly little dogs who wet the spot they're standing in when anybody brings up anything that they don't understand, they don't know, and they're technically incompetent. And this shit has to go. I think the older I get, the less patient I get with this, the less tolerant I get with owners who should have never been allowed to be owners in the first place. All right, that's my Christmas time rant. See you guys later. And I'm actually supposed to be off over through the whole weekend all the way into January, but I had one service guy I couldn't get to him before Christmas, and I promised him that if he was open while I was passing by, I would do him, and I did. And on my way home, this guy calls. Most everybody else is closed today. And even on this block, as I drove down this block, all the body shops and half of the mechanicals are all closed, and only this guy is open. I mean, to be open through this time, you gotta be really desperate and hurting. And you only have one guy and all your employees quit. That's a personal problem. And they like to point at the employees and blame the employees. No, look in the mirror, and there lies your problem. See you guys later. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's.